It's December 31st, 1944, and in the cockpit of his B-17, the little skipper is Second Lieutenant Glenn Rajan alongside his co-pilot, Second Lieutenant William Leake. They're approaching Germany on a mission to flatten oil refineries in Hamburg. Flak erupts directly beneath them and all hell breaks loose. The men watch as they see B-17 after B-17 being shot out of the sky in the target area ahead of them. When the flak is at its thickest, Rajan sees a smoke target over the docks. It's the cue to drop the bombs. All the B-17s in Rajan's group that are still flying open their bomb bay doors. The flak intensifies with a ferocity that the pilots have never seen before. In the lead squadron, the B-17 Fools rush in is hit dead center with flak. It veers off to the right and crashes directly into another B-17 called Cramps Tramps. The two planes crunch together and Cramps Tramps is sliced in two. Both planes fall from the air. Rajan and Leake can't believe their eyes. They think is lost, but incredibly 3 crew members from each plane get pushed into the void and manage to release their parachutes. 3, 4, I see 6 chutes. Navigator put it in the log. Rajan pushes the shock to the back of his mind and radios to the bombardier, Sergeant James Shirley, confirm when bombs away. Bombs away! Through the B-17's huge bomb bay doors drops a stream of 500-pounders which plummet towards the earth. On the little skipper, the ball turret gunner watches the bombs hit the target. Russo, how's the view? Right on target. After dropping the bombs, the formation follows the original plan and does a 180 straight back out to sea. They tighten formation as much as they can for the trip home, but just as they get into their box formation, a warning comes over the radio. Bandits, 11 o'clock high. Around 50 German defenders race at full speed to intercept the Americans. The first on the scene are the jet-propelled Me-262s. One screams past the Americans from above, firing its Mk-18 cannons through the line. The Messerschmitt carries on below and pulls out in a wide arc, its contrails glistening in the sun. It's too fast to hit, and it's already gone before the gunners can target it. Then Bf-19s streak past the formation, attacking from the front, and FW-190s buzz like hornets. The faithful forever on Rajan's right position is lagging slightly back and already damaged from flak. Then it's hit once again. Its pilot, Second Lieutenant Leo Ross, gets on the radio. Faithful forever going down. Ross manages to get his plane down to 5,000 feet straight and level despite its damage, and all its crew bail out and survive. Back with the main formation, the situation is desperate. German fighters are wreaking havoc on the ragged bomber formation. Big group at 8 o'clock high. Then suddenly a beautiful sight appears in the sky. American P-51 fighters. Thank God! The German interceptors suddenly have softer targets elsewhere and immediately turn away. The P-51s chase them off and then depart to defend other bomber groups further along the route. Rajan and what's left of his formation fly on alone. They approach the German coastline northwest of Hamburg. Flak begins again. The bombers battle through the explosions and finally make it out over the sea. The turbulence is so severe that the B-17 struggle to maintain formation. Then comes the dreaded call over the intercom. Bandits 11 o'clock. Another voice follows. Bandits 1 o'clock high. Another wave of German fighters from bases in Bremen and Oldenburg rushes toward the scattered formation. The B-17s desperately try to regroup, but plane after plane is hit. Engines begin streaming oil and fire. Dangerous gaps open in the bomber formation. German fighters exploit them immediately. A Bf-19 strafes the B-17, 9 lives. The lead plane in Rajan's formation, bullets rip through the cockpit. Both pilots are killed instantly, but the aircraft continues flying. Engines keep running and the rest of the crew keep fighting the attackers, unaware that no one in the cockpit is alive. Back on the little skipper, Rajan reacts quickly. He moves his bomber forward to fill the empty space in the formation. He nudges the aircraft into position with one hand on the control column and the other ready to adjust the throttles. He's searching for 9 lives, but he can't see it. Pilot to crew, anyone CMC nav, 9 lives, where did it go? What Rajan doesn't know is that the dead pilots of the 9 lives are still holding the controls. Their lifeless bodies have pulled back slightly on the control column. The B-17 begins slowly climbing. Nearby, Captain Ethan Porter watches in horror as the 2 bombers drift closer and closer together. He grabs his radio. McNabb! McNabb, look out! You're gonna collide. But it's too late. Suddenly there's a violent shudder. Rajan's hand is thrown from the throttles. Leake's knees slam into the control column.
In God's name was that?
Pilot to crew. What just happened? They quickly check the systems. Hydraulics and electrics are still working, but something is terribly wrong. Then Rajan looks out the side window. He freezes. You're not going to believe this. We're riding another fort. The 9 lives has collided midair with the little skipper. The nose of the 9 lives has pierced straight into the belly of Rajan's bomber. The 2 aircraft are now locked together. Inside the ball turret of the 9 lives, Staff Sergeant Edward Woodall Jr. is surrounded by twisted metal fragments. His turret has lost electrical and hydraulic power. He grabs the manual hand crank. Slowly, he forces the turret downward until he can crawl out. Inside the fuselage, he sees chaos, twisted metal everywhere. Then he looks toward the belly of the aircraft. The ball turret of the little skipper has been forced upward through the roof of the 9 Lives. Inside that turret is Corporal Joe Russo. The turret is completely jammed by crushed aluminum. Russo knows he cannot escape. Through the plexiglass, Woodall sees him making the sign of the cross. Russo begins quietly praying. "Hail Mary, full of grace." The crew of the little skipper can still hear him through the intercom. His voice continues as the 2 bombers slowly descend together. Leake later said hearing those prayers was the most difficult moment of the entire ordeal. He removed his helmet and disconnected his intercom. He wanted Russo to have his final moments in peace. Meanwhile, one of the engines on the 9 Lives bursts into flames. The 2 Lock bombers are descending rapidly. Rajan and Leake struggle with everything they have to control the combined aircraft. They brace their feet against the instrument panel and pull on the control column with all their strength. Rajan tries rocking the aircraft. He guns the engines. He attempts to break the planes apart. Nothing works. He realizes something terrifying. If we crash into the sea, everyone will die. Their only chance is to reach land. We have to get above land so the crew can bail out. Rajan pulls the throttles back to idle. Carefully begins turning the Lock bombers toward the German coastline. Slowly, unbelievably, the 2 aircraft begin to turn. It's working! The coast appears on the horizon. But the fire spreading from the 9 Lives is now engulfing the left wing of the little skipper. The heat begins to penetrate the fuselage. Soon ammunition in the wings begins cooking off. Bullets start exploding in the flames. Rajan takes the intercom. We're almost over land. Prepare to bail out. The only escape route is the tail door, but the flames are raging directly above it. One by one, the crew prepare to jump. In the waste compartment, several men try desperately to free Russo from his turret. They pull and push with all their strength, but the turret will not move. Russo continues praying. Finally, the men realize there is nothing they can do. Reluctantly, they move toward the tail exit. With one final look back, they jump through the flames into the sky. On the ground, German soldiers on the island of Wangerooge stare in disbelief at the sight above them. 2 American bombers locked together are descending toward the earth. A German officer watches the spectacle. "Stop firing, those poor men have no chance." Inside the cockpit, Rajan knows time is running out. He turns to Leake. "Bill, you got to jump," but Leake refuses. He knows Rajan cannot control the aircraft alone.
"I'm staying." Without Leake's help, the aircraft would enter a spiral and
Rajan would never escape. The ground rushes closer. Both pilots shout prayers. Then suddenly, the 9 Lives strikes the ground first. It explodes violently. The impact catapults the little skipper upward like a pole vault. The damaged bomber slams back to the earth. Its wing slices through a wooden building. The fuselage tears apart. Then everything goes silent. Slow. 2 pilots look at each other. They are alive. Neither is seriously injured. Leake crawls out of the wreckage. He searches his pocket for a cigarette. Just as he is about to light it, a German soldier points a rifle at him. Gasoline is pouring from the destroyed aircraft. One spark would ignite everything. Because of the extraordinary skill of Rajan and Leake, 6 crew members from the little skipper survive. 4 crew members from 9 Lives also survive. For his actions, Glenn Rajan later received the Distinguished Flying Cross. But he always insisted the credit belonged to his co-pilot. "In all fairness to my co-pilot, he's the reason I am alive today."